everybody, Cinema Sickness here with another Cinema Sickness review, and today we're going to take a look at Tales from the Darkside, the movie. First off, let me say, this is some fantastic artwork. Absolutely love the way this looks. Unfortunately, nowadays with DVDs and Blu-rays, you usually get some pretty bad photoshopped artwork, but this just goes to show you VHS is king, because this is absolutely beautiful. As far as the movie itself goes, loved the hell of it. It's a horror anthology film, very much like the Creepshow movies. In fact, this film is considered the unofficial third Creepshow movie. And the reason for that being is because after the success of the first two Creepshow movies, the people behind those two films, they wanted to make a Creepshow TV series, an anthology TV series, very much like Tales from the Crypt. Unfortunately, due to some kind of legal reasons, they couldn't actually use the name Creepshow, so they ended up going with Tales from the Darkside. I believe put out 4 seasons of that show, and then eventually did this movie as well. Thus why it's considered the unofficial third Creepshow film. The movie, as I said, is a horror anthology. There's basically one kind of main story going on and 3 stories within that story. And our main story stars Debbie Harry and Matthew Lawrence. And Debbie Harry is going to cook and eat Matthew Lawrence. So she gives him this book, again, Tales from the Darkside. That's the name of the book she gives him. Basically just to pass the time before she eats him. And he starts reading this book, and basically to prolong him being cooked to death, he starts reading Debbie Harry some of the stories, which she gets really into because this is a book she had when she was a kid. She loves these stories, and she loves hearing him read the stories to her. So the first story, and I'm going to read this off the back because I'm going to forget this if I don't say it, is called Lot 249, screenplay by Michael McDowell, and inspired by a story by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The story is all about a mummy, and that automatically bumps it up a few notches. Love a great mummy story. Stars Christian Slater and Steve Buscemi. Again, a couple more notches up for me. Fantastic actors. And I'd say by far, this is the strongest story out of all 3. And the whole story is all about Steve Buscemi. He gets this mummy with a scroll inside him, takes the scroll out, reads the scroll, brings the mummy to life, and the mummy ends up going out and killing Christian Slater's sister and best friend to get basically revenge for Steve Buscemi because they screwed him over with getting some kind of grant. So that's basically the entire story. Christian Slater finds out what happened, gets pissed off, goes after Steve Buscemi, lets him live because he thinks that he destroyed the scroll and Steve Buscemi can't bring any mummies back or anybody back again. Well, as we find out in the end, the scroll was actually not destroyed. It was a different fake scroll that got destroyed. Steve Buscemi still has his scroll, reads from it, brings back Christian Slater's sister and best friend, brings them back, and they go against Christian Slater. Just a fantastic, great twist ending. Loved the hell of the story, and like I said, by far the strongest out of all 3. The second story is called Cat from Hell, with a screenplay by George A. Romero and based on a Stephen King story. Now, this one's, I'd say, by far the weakest. It's all about a killer cat. It's a Stephen King story, so yeah, expect something kind of weird. Like I said, it's definitely the weakest of the 3. It's an okay story, again, about a killer cat. But I'd say by far the cheesiest and kind of the most fun. There's a great scene of the cat walking up this old lady's chest. You see its paw go on her mouth as if he's holding her mouth shut. And next thing you know, he lunges on her face and she wakes up and she's holding onto this cat on her face. It's really cheesy, ridiculous looking, but it's a lot of fun in a goofy sort of way. So yes, by far the weakest out of all 3, but still a fun story. And our third story is called Lover's Vow, which is written by Michael McDowell. This one is all about a guy who has a friend who runs a bar. As they're leaving the bar one night, this creature kills his friends. Decapitates them, just completely messes it up. The creature goes after him, but says at the last moment, I will let you live and kind of give you what you want if you just promise to never tell anybody about this. He agrees, and sure enough, next thing you know, he meets Rae Dawn Chong, which love when she pops up in movies because she is absolutely beautiful. He meets her, they fall in love immediately. He's an artist, so his artwork takes off. He becomes really famous, starts making a ton of money. Again, he's in love with her. They get married. 10 years later, they have 2 children. And all this time later, again, 10 years down the line, he says to her, you know, you've given me everything you want. I'm so happy. I've gotten everything I want. You make me happy. I'm so in love with you, and there's nothing else I could possibly give you except for one thing. There's one thing that I could give you, and that's to let you know the secret I've been holding all these years, and that is how his friend died from this creature. Well, like I said, in the beginning of the film, the creature says, you just don't tell anybody this happens, and you'll get everything you want, I'll let you go. Well, big mistake, he ends up telling her all about what happened. Sure enough, she starts freaking out. You promised you would never tell, and blah, 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 and all of a sudden, Ray Dong-chong turns into the creature. And this is great. The third story definitely has the best special effects. This creature starts ripping out of her skin and just tearing through her body. It's fantastic. Our main character then turns around, sees the two children have also turned into these creatures as well. She takes a huge chunk out of his neck and then grabs the children up and they fly away. Great end scene where they're all perched on top of this building looking like gargoyles. Absolutely loved this story. Very well done. Definitely enjoyable. Like I said, as far as special effects go, the best out of all three, even though I would say the first story is definitely the best story. As far as the story holding it all together is concerned, Matthew Lawrence gets his revenge on Debbie Harry. He kind of tricks her into basically getting pushed onto some hooks, and then as she's freaking out, he pushes her into the oven, kind of like Hansel and Gretel. Pushes her in the oven, cooks her alive, and he gets away with not being cooked and eaten alive. So again, a great story. One I would highly recommend. If you like Creepshow, if you like Tales from the Crypt, if you really like the Tales from the Darkside TV series, then Tales from the Darkside, the movie, is definitely one to check out. As I said, it has some great special effects, some great stories. It's somewhat cheesy, but definitely a lot of fun. If you love great kind of like late 80s, early 90s campy horror films, this is one you must see. So that's it, guys. Like I said, definitely check out Tales from the Darkside, the movie. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Perhaps a bit cheesy, but in that great late 80s, early 90s kind of way. If you love those great cheeseball horror movies, this is one you are definitely going to want to check out. This also has a fantastic lineup. Every actor and actress in this movie you're going to be recognizing, even more so than the ones I already told you about. Just a great cast altogether. So a brilliant film, a lot of fun, and one I would highly recommend. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next Cinema Sickness review. See ya.